Cooper Smith. We've upgraded since you were here last, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
don't touch anything down there. Okay. Don't touch the table. Don't touch anything down there with your feet.
Keep your elbows off the table.
Jeez,
We expect manners. No, you can put your elbows on the table. Relax.
touch anything
Okay.
under the table, your table, my table.
Hey,
Do we have to do the thing, or can we just?
we have to do the thing.
Yeah, you got to.
All right.
It's
All
like
right.
it's like an
always.
intro song.
As
You gotta
always.
do the damn thing.
As always.
As always, we got Gunny Matheson, Joe Schmidt, and our special guest today, Cooper Smith.
And
The
who are
one and
you?
only.
Coop in the loop.
You introduce everybody else.
My
Who are you?
name's,
Yeah.
my name's on here.
He's known. He's known.
Oh no, it's not.
He just assumes everybody knows him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Welcome
guys,
back, man.
Coop, you've been busy, dude.
Very busy. Very
Well,
busy.
we had sales this week, and it's a good time to have Cooper on here because I was curious to ask him if he officially bought every horse in the sales this weekend. So he just, is that how you make money? You just dominate the competition by buying everything, so people have to come shopping with you. When you own them all, they got to come shopping somewhere.
Well,
And you bought all of them, didn't
No,
you?
didn't buy all of them. You sold one.
I didn't buy one though. Yeah, you didn't
I
buy
have one if you need one.
You didn't buy it either. Mine,
No, I didn't buy them
mine's
all.
speaking
Bought it.
Spanish now, unfortunately. Well, fortunately.
Fortunately.
He's going to
No, I
have a
did
great
not buy
one.
them all. We bought a few that kept and ride and some to sell. Sold the ones we had. It was good. I mean, I think it was good all the way through for everybody. But no, to answer your question, no, did not buy them all. There was plenty to have though. What was there? You guys
400.
Yeah, there's
you had-
181.
You guys had 181. Lorenzo had probably 300. I mean, there was close to 500 between the 3 days of it.
Yeah.
There was plenty to choose from. If you couldn't find something you liked, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and the legacy sale averaged right at 20,000, which I thought for as many horses as we're selling during the week, that's very competitive with what we've been over the last couple of years.
Oh, 100%.
Do you remember what the average was last year, by any chance?
It's right in that neighborhood. I'd be a coin flip if it was more or less. I mean, it was kind of right there.
And there was about that many horses last year too, huh?
Less last year, I think like 130 last year.
So there was 60 more,
Yeah,
and they still average about the same. I
Yeah.
mean, as a whole, it was way better. I mean, the average was
yeah,
better.
yeah. No, for sure. So
And the quality of the horses were better. I mean, that makes everything better too.
yeah, and there's something for everybody. I mean, if you showed up and wanted to give 150 for one, they could do
had-
that. And if you wanted to give 6,500 for one, and that you're working on a little bit of a budget. And the thing is, even the ones bringing 6,000, 6,500,
They've got the same chances as one
Yeah.
that costs 150.
yeah,
Yep.
they're good bred, and they're I like that. And we've talked before about. I think there's a place for the online sales, but me personally, like
You can't replace a live horse sale.
I love it. I grew up going to horse sales just like you did, and I love that. And I think there's something great about getting 500 people all with the same interest together in a situation like that. And there's so much residual business that goes on.
Oh yeah, there's business from Joe's house, Johnny's house, your house, my house. Everybody's in town. They're all in town for the same reason. I mean, maybe you don't like the same horse. Who really cares? I mean, there's 180. There's 500 of them to choose from.
Yeah.
You don't have to all like the same horse, but you're in town and you're all have the same motive of what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you want a yearling, you want a weanling, you want a broodmare, but at least you're all moving forward,
Yep.
looking for obviously a new prospect of some kind, whatever the age may be.
Yep.
No, we got some horses sold at home that weren't in sales too, just because
Yeah.
of the busy weekend.
And people,
Yeah.
I mean, they were in town. It's before the Congress. Everybody, I mean, that's the other thing that was good for everybody. There wasn't any, major horse shows going on, so it was at least a little bit of time everybody could get in. There was guys from Arizona come. They could get away. I mean,
Yeah.
no doubt it's right on top of everything. But if you wanted to come, you could have made it work. I mean, I'm not saying it's ideal, but you could make it.
Well, that's like, Josiane Gauthier came in and bought a couple of good horses. Like, I think she
Yep.
bought 3 in that sale.
And bought some of the best ones.
Some of the best ones. And if it's like it was the last couple of years and we're already moving into the Congress.
She couldn't have come.
Yeah. It would have been harder.
It'd be harder. Yeah, I mean, you're going to make work what you want to make work, but it makes it harder.
Yeah, for sure. Having that extra week in there is nice. You know what? You bought 20 head at our sale, and I can remember walking up to you and saying, How do you keep track of those things? You know, you go home and because you buy and sell a ton of them. I said, you put a collar on them. He says to me, yeah, if I watch them go in the trailer, I'll remember them.
I remember them. I don't remember their
blows
names.
my
How in
mind.
the world?
I can remember the horses. I don't remember their names. Kelsey remembers their names. I remember the horses, and I can somewhat. They might be a 3-year-old, and I don't know how I remember them, but I'll remember them. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but she can remember their names for years. I can't remember their names for nothing, but I can remember the horses.
That's impressive because I've had horses that are tied to my wall that I didn't know you had anything to do with, and you'll walk in there and say, "Oh, that's old Stanley or whoever." You sold them as yearlings to somebody, and now they're 3 or 4, and you're still recognizing them.
Well, you can ride one that's for every day for
Oh,
3
yeah.
years and not know it's your horse.
Oh, yeah.
If you see someone else,
He can
walking it.
actually ride somebody else's horse, think it's his,
It is.
for a good solid hour. Okay.
Yep.
It was a half hour.
Okay. Well, it took a person to remind you
Yeah.
that wasn't the horse you were trying to ride.
Yeah, but I knew he didn't feel right.
Either way, his name's on the gate. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm horrible at that. I mean, I just don't. I have but I have that thing.
Yeah, the face blindness.
Yeah.
It goes to horses too.
Oh yeah, it's the
Is
same
it
thing.
blinders?
Blinders.
Yeah.
No, there's actually a thing where you
Face
don't.
blindness. Have
you
you
don't
ever heard that?
You don't recall, shapes and people and apparently horses. That's what Joe told me.
I think it's just faces. I don't think it's shapes.
Well, a horse has a face.
Right, faces, not shapes. I don't think it's like, oh, what is
Yeah.
that? That's a rectangle.
You wonder why we had
I
our
don't
own
think you
private
forget that.
conversation down here last week.
Mullen there.
Yeah, they get off on tangents like
A
that.
shape
Yeah.
of a horse.
Yeah.
It's not a shape.
Shape of
well.
a face, shape of a horse. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Well, the point we're
Well, I
making
think
is
that's pretty
you
impressive.
remember it,
Oh, okay.
and he doesn't.
I think.
I don't know what you
I don't know
diagnosed
anybody.
I don't know what you diagnosed yourself with, but I'm proud of you.
we're
Have a
not totally-
diagnosis of
We're
it.
not totally sure either.
I knew there had to be something. There had to be an excuse somehow. No, but that's you guys got to admit that's impressive as shit.
Yes.
I mean, you go. I mean, that's.
But now, like, anytime like we go to your place, you're on the phone all the time. Even someone said that the other day. You're always got something going on. How do you keep track of all the stuff happening?
It gets pretty fast.
Man.
It gets pretty fast, and some of it gets missed sometimes. But I'll be the first to tell you if I forgot or I'm not going to give you an excuse. I forgot, or it didn't happen, or whatever. It's not maybe because I'll be the first to tell you I do. Kelsey keeps all of it wrote down, the most as I can give her, but I'm not saying it's all on there either, and it stays pretty rapid, just like you said. I mean, it's all day, every day, and the phone. Yeah, I see how people that don't have cell phones how they get more done of a day.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it to the test. So the legacy sale was Saturday, right?
yes.
Today's Wednesday. How many of the 20 do you still have?
I have no idea how many of them we sent.
Do you have a plan? Did you have a plan with them before you bought them? Was it just
no? Kept something I had a plan. There's some of them we kept to ride. There were some of them that were babies to turn out. There were some of them that we bought that are horses, just riding horses. Like I needed a few riding horses for a couple of guys to go use ranch on, do ranch riding, whatever. Some of those 3-year-olds. There was a few horses that I bought for customers. They had said, "Hey, find this, find that. I mean, if you find one you like, I need that, whatever." I would say that out of the whatever there was, you said there's 20. I don't know. I didn't count them, but I would say there's probably keep 3 to 5 of them to ride and start as 2-year-olds. There's 3 or 4 brood mares and 3 or 4 babies. I mean, the rest of them will find a place, but they're not like going to be keep to ride as 2-year-olds. But I would say 3 to 5 of them to keep and start.
So people know now you play at the top end of the reining horse business and the cutting horse business. But what percentage of your business is those high-end reiners and cutters versus just selling horses to the ranchers and the horse says, "I know you to go to Billings, Billings."
I would say half and half. I mean, but it's a lot of those cheaper horses, I guess you want to call them, or not show horses, I guess you would call them, that are not good enough for maybe you, but there's still a place for those horses. I mean, we live in the hardest of competition there is. I mean, a 72 or 3 here's a 72 or 3, a 72 or 3 in Montana or New York or wherever, way off, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of those horses, I mean, just like Gunny said, there's people that come bought horses this weekend, riding horses. I mean, I don't know where he sold them or where you sold some horses, but them horses, not because they don't win here or not in the top of the top, don't mean they can't be in the top of the top somewhere else. You know what I mean? And still the same discipline, but they just need to they need to go to a different part of the world. You know.
Yeah, need their spot that they can be competitive.
Be their spot where they can be competitive. You know what I mean? And that's to answer to go back to your question. I would say that probably half and half. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff. I mean, I enjoy those cheaper horses. I mean, call them whatever you want to word. I like it. The ranchers and the ropers and the cowboys and that stuff. Those people, the difference is they make a living. A lot of those guys make a living riding a horse or breeding horses or using them. And they appreciate a good horse different than you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You appreciate a good horse. They appreciate a good horse, but it's totally different the why they appreciate one. They might appreciate one because they can ride him from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Just because he's tough.
I got one of those.
Because you know what I mean? Or I mean, there's appreciation for an individual in different aspects of a good horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And some of the ones that don't work out for us are the best broke horse somebody else has ever been on.
100%. And if it's a roping, or if it's doing the ranch riding, or if it's doing, reining at a different level, or just so many people, they say, I want a reiner for my kids to learn how to ride. Well, those horses have had repetition, and it makes it easier for somebody to learn how to ride. And if they mess up, that horse has had so much of the same repetition, it makes it easy for a kid to learn instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I say a kid, even anybody trying to learn how to ride, it doesn't matter the age. But
yeah, and they're safe.
Safe.
That's what I say. Those horses have been to boot camp, and they're safe, and anybody can ride them. And
it's funny to me how some people, like, they go out wanting to buy a horse that they think they have to buy a 5-6-year-old horse or even an 8-9-year-old horse. Well, if you bought a horse that's been training, cow horse, cutting training, been in training, with some of the top guys of whatever discipline, those horses had more training than your average horse that's 5 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. I understand it's hard to make somebody understand that until you're in the middle of it, but it's just different. You know what I mean? And obviously it makes a difference on the individual. But
right.
When did you get in? So when I first run into you, you'd come out and buy. Our scrub outs at that point. This is probably 10 years ago, maybe.
Ago, probably. 10, 12 years ago.
And those horses that we were getting rid of at that point were 5,000 to 7,500.
3,500 to 7,500.
Yeah, 3,500.
The best one was 10,000.
Yeah, and now those horses are we can sell them to a rope horse guy. We can sell them to a lot of different places for 25 to 35,000, depending on what they look like and how they go around.
Well, and the other deal is, like, you see down at the Paint World, they had all those futurities for ranch riding. They're showing 2s and 3-year-olds. You know what I mean? They've made a spot for almost all those horses. If it be a cow horse, they can go show in the shot stuff. There's so many different spots those horses can go do something else. It might not be the exact discipline that you trained them for, but they can still go be repurposed on a young horse to an old horse.
Yeah.
Just like you said. Even if it's essentially your reject, but that it's not a reject to the next guy. Maybe it is. It just depends on the horse and the situation.
Yeah. What is amazing to me is no matter where I go, who I'm talking to, cow horse guys, reiner guys, rope horse guys, everybody knows Coop. Everybody pretty much in every that's a player in every business. And I feel like
to most of it, but a lot of those guys we've done some kind of business at one time. Like you said, if it's a cutter or a cow horse.
I call in with problems about who should I get to come paint stuff, who should fix my trailer. Do you have any employees? I need an off the wall favor. He finds it. Like, he finds everything. You know how to turn over stones.
It does get quite interesting, some of the things.
Some of the phone calls.
He's not the only one. He does come with some weird things, but it is kind of interesting, some of the things that gets called to ask about or to do. But it's interesting for me. I like it. I get mad that my phone rings 24/7, but when it doesn't, I'm like, what? I'm kind of bored.
Yeah. No, the thing is, whenever I call you, I'm sure it's the same for, maybe it's just me, but I love it because we don't have to talk for 5 minutes. No. We can get our shit said in 30 seconds.
You like talking to him because you don't like saying goodbye on the phone, and he's too quick hanging up for it to even spit it out. That's why you get along. Every time
he knows he's calling me too. He gives my phone number.
There's like an awkward pause before it's goodbye because I know he's about to hang up, and I know I'm not supposed to say goodbye, but I'm like, goodbye. He beat me to it.
I'm kind of bad about that, so I've heard.
Yeah.
You don't like saying goodbye on the phone?
I don't generally say goodbye. No.
You ever
Have
say
you
hello?
never have you
Just
never
was-
noticed that?
I don't because I hang
I'm
up on him.
thinking
I
about it.
You,
Now I'm thinking about it, and maybe not. 'Cause
you
kinda
two
go,
are
"All right,
you
then."
two are one and the same. Y'all are quick to hang up. You don't even say, "Hey, good talking to you. Goodbye."
Huh.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's just
It was a good talk. I'm just going to tell you now. It was always a good talk, so we'll get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Save the minutes.
Sometimes I'm still talking.
save the minute.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I hang up on Monica all the time too. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.
No, that's one of my pet peeves is when there's people I don't call because I know we could have a 45-second conversation and it's going to take me 10 minutes. So I just avoid those people. I it drives me nuts. I like bam, 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 we're done.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Me too.
Move on.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
We all got too much shit going on.
That's, most of the days.
So what about I think we've talked about this a lot, but I think that one of the things that has really boosted the reining horse business is that there is so many uses for a horse that's bred like a reining horse. You know, the ranch riding. I mean, how many of those have been in the reining pen? The ranch riding, the roping, you can go anywhere with them.
You can go anywhere with those horses, and just like you said before, the repetition is easy for just the general public that wants a horse just to keep at their house. You know what I mean? If they want to buy one horse for their whole family, if they want to go to a play day or, it's easy. I mean, they obviously know their correct leads. They know. I mean, it makes it easy for a novice type rider if they are novice, or even if you're going to rope on them. I mean, it makes it easy for them to do that. You know what I mean? They've had so much training as far as headed that way to do that. You know,
And they've got a good temperament for it. You know what I've noticed when I was a kid or even probably up till 20 years ago, we used to sell a lot of scrub out reiners to barrel horse people. I don't see that happening anymore.
that deal's gotten to where it's so specialized. It's so competitive. I mean that there's almost more. It's almost more competitive than any other discipline there is. I mean it's.
Those are high dollar horses too, huh?
Yeah.
Like to be competitive in that.
Oh,
they're-
it's you couldn't sell or trade one of them the best reiners for the best barrel horse. There would be no way. I mean, you'd be giving them two of them.
Yeah. You trade any of those?
Not much. I'm very little. I mean, I don't. You have to stay pretty current with them because the one that they're hot on, it changes, and I mean it because there's so many. I mean, there's so many barrel racers, so many different things.
when those horses go bad, they tend to go bad. Like you got to change directions on them or do something else with them.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I like I said, I don't mess with it enough. I keep a few yearlings here and there. I'll find one that I kind of like and think I don't want to feed it, and yeah, it's mainly just a project for no odd reason. But my dad raises a handful of it. He likes it, but it's like you said, you have to stay pretty current because those things. There's a barrel race somewhere all the time that's a big paying barrel race, and I mean they're winning. I mean obviously there's the core stallions, but there's some of those young horses that change overnight from one that's won a bunch. You know what I mean? Because it's not just like in the reining. I mean there's 3 or 4 big key shows. Well, them barrel horses, there's lots of them. You know.
Yeah.
So you said you're going to Billings and then Shawnee. How have those sales changed in the last few years?
I was telling Tom before we come on here, like in Mandan, they have the world's largest colt sale. I know it's in the United States. I don't know about world, but like they sold 1,100 baby colts, like 24 baby colts. I mean, anywhere from a reining horse bred to a ranch horse bred. I mean, anything. It doesn't matter. I mean, anywhere from probably some that cost $200 to some that cost $15,000 to $20,000. They sold 1,100 of those things, and they averaged like $500 or $600. And that's in 2 days, you know. I mean,
Did you go there?
I did not. It was during the Legacy. It was the same day.
Have you ever been there?
I have been, and it's crazy because them guys come from all over the world, and they buy them babies, and they keep them. I mean, there's a lot of horses that, I mean, obviously went on, made rope horses, made whatever.
They buy them for looks, or they buy them off pedigree, or
All the above.
all of it.
All the above, yeah. I mean, and like I said, they'll sell some. Like they sold a cutting bred one in there one time for like 30-some thousand. I mean, it ain't just all cheap colts, but I mean, it's what I'm saying is the market has stayed very, very well on, especially quality. But 1,100 head at 25.
How do they do it? How do they run 1,100 head through?
Pretty
2 days?
Pretty rapid.
Probably a lot of panels and a lot of guys
Well,
opening and closing gates.
Well, that sale barn's set up. I mean, they have a cow sale. I would say 2 to 3 days a week there. I mean, it's a big stockyards. But them baby colts, it's like selling feeder cattle. I mean, it's pretty fast.
All weaned, obviously.
Maybe they just got weaned when they got there, but I mean, it's fast. I mean, obviously to sell 1,100 in 2 days. And I mean, they also sell older horses too. There's 3 days. There's 2 babies, two days of babies, and then 1 day of yearlings, riders, broodmares, whatever.
That's crazy.
Where is that at?
It's in Mandan, North Dakota.
It's hard for me to believe that there is enough clients for 1,100 baby colts.
Well, I'll tell you the next thing is I was thinking about while we were driving down here. So they sold roughly 1,400 and change in Mandan. We sold 500 right here, and then they sold almost 1,000 at Heritage Place. All in between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I mean, I know that's different parts of the world, but that's a lot of horses now.
That's a lot of horses. That's a lot of horses. And we talked about it too. It's just the horses that are selling in this part of the world as yearlings. And you always worry going into the sale, is there enough money and enough people out there
Enough
to buy all
customers.
these horses? But there always is.
Yeah.
But there's how many active reiners are there?
15,000 or so.
No.
Members.
There's
You mean
15,000 members,
8,000
but
or 10,000?
yeah, I was gonna guess more like 5 or 6.
Okay, but and there's probably triple that active ropers. Or
quadruple
Yeah,
that.
gotcha.
I mean,
Because when you say active ropers, I mean, no different than the reiners. I mean, you want to say an active reiner. I mean, they put on a reining in Kalispell, Montana. I mean, do you consider that an active reiner? I mean, they're showing reining.
maybe
for
the
sure.
number's even 10 times.
sure.
Like there's might be 15,000 active NRHA members. Or members in general that aren't showing, but there's 150,000
Team
PRC team members
Team ropers.
Right. Team ropers and stuff. Yeah.
or World Series. I don't know what their
But
associations
those
are.
horses, and he said it. So like you use that rope horse, the rope horse deal standalone. I mean, used to those guys were buying, repurposing a reiner, repurposing a cutter, a cow horse. Them guys that got to where that futurity deal pays so much. I mean, you've sold those horses to Trevor and Miles, and I mean that deal's got to where it pays so much. They're raising them. I mean, they're starting off with a purpose. It is raising head horses, raising heel horses, raising calf horses, raising rope horses. Period. With all their incentives, I mean, no different than with you guys with NRBC or the 100X or the Invitational or anything like that. Still the same, but instead of buying, I mean, they obviously still repurpose some of those horses, but there's horses getting raised just for that.
Yeah, for sure. And they can still, even though coming in and buying some of our really good bred ones, and there's a lot of cow bred in the reiners too. I mean, if they come in and buy one for $25,000, they can't breed it and raise it and train it to that point for anywhere near that.
100%. You're exactly right. But in the end of it, I mean, there's some of those studs that they're trying to promote. I mean, no different.
Yeah, right.
There's different reasons to it. You know what I mean? But it's no different. Like I said in the ranch riding, they've made fraternities, they've made derby type stuff for those things. They've made different things that them horses can go win money and show it money and prizes and different things all across the country. Obviously, a lot of it is done somewhat locally for us, but I mean, it's not always right here. I mean, there's different parts of the country. It's still paid out a lot of money for different events.
Yeah. No, I blows my mind when I see how much the team ropers get paid, and some of the higher numbers or lower numbers. What's the worst? I don't follow it. Is a lower number the higher number?
The better you are.
Higher number, the better you are. Lower number, the more novice you are. But a lot of times, those lower number opens pay more because there's more entries.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's great. For
I mean, I'm
all
not
of
saying
us.
every time. I'm just saying as a general rule, there's more entries in the lower number than there is in the higher number. It's no different than like in the team sorting or in the team pinning or stuff like that. I mean, there's going to be more entries in the lower levels.
How about the team pennant? Is that still a big deal for?
Very big. I mean, Jared, he puts on those team sortings and team pennants right there in Wattsboro. I mean, when he has one, you know they're in town because I mean, there's
Place is full. The parking lot's full. The stalls are full. There's horses tied outside.
he had a show the other day. They give away like 2 trucks, or one. I know it for sure. I don't know if it was 2, but I mean, yeah, they.
Wow, because I remember 10 years ago, it really kind of came on the scene and blew up, and then the ranch riders came in and and kind of did that. Going to the Congress, when we used to go to the Congress years ago, even when we just started going back to the Congress 4 or 5 years ago, they had the cutting that first week with the Rainers, and there wasn't any cutters. There was a few.
Yeah.
And Congress Hall was empty, and now they've added the ranch ride.
Yeah, and all the futurities and all the steaks and all. I mean, I don't know all the different.
Congress Hall is full. I mean, there is people all over the place out there that first week now. So, I mean, there's got to be vendors, and everybody's thrilled with all that stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the above's good with it. The other thing is there's so much money that have gotten pushed towards those different disciplines. It's made those horses that are at the top of that game, or as a prospect to be at the top, worth more money. I mean, it's no different than the Reining. I mean, there's a reason why those horses keep bringing what they bring, and they can go win more money than they could win before. It's no different than the Open, the Reining, the cow horse, the cutting. I mean, all of it.
So I know you do a lot of the breeding too. Here's the thing that I think is going to happen next, which it's a move that it's going to happen probably industry wide for it to be able to work. But I feel as much as studs are having to pay into now all these programs, I think stud fees are going to have to go up. I mean, I just don't know how you support it.
I would say that you're going to separate those horses. I mean, it doesn't matter in whatever discipline. I mean, because there's all those incentives in every discipline you're in. You know what I mean? If the cutting, there are different incentives that you can pay into and do different things. The ropers for sure. I mean, the Rainers, obviously, the barrel. I mean, all of them have. I mean, even the halter horses, even with my dad's deal, there's different incentives that those horses. If you want to be at the top of that game, they have to be paid up into. And I agree with you. I mean, you either have to breed that many more to offset the cost, or I guess charge more. I mean, there's got to be a way. I mean, I'm not saying you buy a stud to make money, but at least not lose money, I guess. Yeah.
I think lately stud fees have gone up, but not enough. Like
right,
they're around 5,000. I feel like now there's a lot of studs around that 4,000 or 5,000 mark, where 5 years ago
that was the top of the mark.
That was the top of the mark. Well, that's kind of just the mark now. But why isn't Gunner Special Night at 10,000? You have built-in customers. You have your built-in mares.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's a great question, and I guess the only answer I can give you is that we are happy. He breeds 150 mares a year, and we have a lot of repeat customers. And I mean, I think the owner's Turnabout Farm, Sarah Williman, I think she's happy to have him breed a lot of mares, and we're happy to support the people that have been. I think people are very loyal to Gunner Special Night, so we're happy to have those people keep coming back. And I think that's the reason we haven't bumped it.
Well, and Gunner's at 10,000, in ICSI breeding. And last year, the statistics will show, and the year before that, the stats will show his yearlings averaged $66,000. Why isn't he charging more for stud fees?
Yeah.
It's all good questions.
I mean,
yeah.
Is it just because the rest of the market's not? I mean, you're trying to stay in there? I mean, is there a stud owners union coming soon that y'all get together and say, guys, what are we doing? Why are we giving $50,000 a year to an industry away and just getting, because there's a lot of studs that don't make that money back. They just give the money away.
I'll tell you why, in my opinion. I think you bust your ass to make a stud in the show pen first, and then you start breeding mares, and then you get to a point where you can command a certain price for a stud fee. But by the time you hit that point, there's a new group coming in behind them, and they're going to breed your mare for free because you got a good mare, and they're trying to promote your horse. To me, that is the single biggest detriment of trying to own, unless you have one of the special top 5, unless you have a Gunner Special Night, a Spook Scott, a Wiz, a Gunner Trash, one of the horses that are consistently in the top 5. It's hard to push a horse forward, because if you're kind of in the middle of that group, there's always a new group coming in that are going to breed them for free.
The other thing is didn't have to, but you bred mares for free to get to the point that you're at now. And then no different than you said with those return customers, You don't want to go back and tell them guys, oh, we're going to charge this much. And they've bred consecutive. They bred mares of those horses before they were even producers, before they'd won anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on the bandwagon before the bandwagon was cool.
Yeah, and I can
And I don't
promise.
own a stud, but that's just my thought with it.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I never bred Gunner Special Night never bred a mare for free because of that. That has always been bothersome to me, that the new studs, and I get it. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, because it's not their responsibility to give a shit about my horse or your horse or anybody else's horse. They need to promote their horse. I get that. But in the end of the day, it does make the stud horse business tough.
It just seemed like 25, 30 years ago, stud owners you could hear them say, gosh, we're supporting this industry. They're always coming to us for more breeding. Give a breeding away here, give one away here, give one away here. And before you know it, they're giving away 20 breedings, wondering why they're the only ones supporting the business. Well, those stud owners today are giving away 10 times that. Yeah. I mean, with the
Plus the free breeding.
plus the free breedings. I mean,
You
just
know, when I say free, the donated breeding.
Yeah.
To all the.
Yeah.
They're not
Because-
free, but it's donated.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not bringing money in.
Yeah, and the thing is, you feel as a stud owner, stud manager, you feel guilty if you're running a little horse show up in the Northeast, and it's got a stallion incentive program. Well, I bred 10, 12 mares up there. I'd want them to be eligible for that. So now I feel guilted into, okay, I got to donate my horse, because I'm always trying to support the people that have bred to him. That's why our horses are in the 100X and in the Invitational and in these programs, because I feel like if you bred to my horse, I mean, I feel a responsibility. But at some point, I'm going to have to go up on the stud fees to come up with that kind
pencil
of
it
dough.
out.
Yeah.
I just wonder when it's going to change and what's going to change. I'm curious as to how it's going to go.
Do you want to buy a stud?
Yeah, I would love to.
I don't have one, but
I feel
I
like
had one. I'd like to
I
sell
bet
it.
you'll find one tonight. I bet he'll have one for us to buy in the morning.
Yeah.
He's going to make money on it. He's going to sell it to us where we can make money on it.
I
I
feel
want to
like
keep some breedings though.
we're going to see, and maybe you've already seen it. There's the top tier studs, and now with all the programs, there's these middle level studs that are coming for sale and worth the money, because they're breeding 40 mares, 30 mares.
And paying all the incentives.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it. And these
maybe
are
not.
studs that have won $100,000 plus and good bred top and bottom. And
Yeah, but it's not in just the reining, it's in all the disciplines.
Yeah,
Because
roping has all the incentives too.
Yeah,
right?
I mean if you want to play, or the other aspect of it, if you're a person that owns a stud and you have a bunch of mares and you're trying to ride the progeny out of them, you have to have them in those programs, or what are you doing it for? So then it's kind of a snowball effect. At the end of the day, you better hope your product's a good product, because if it ain't, it's going to be a disaster. If it is a good product, it doesn't matter, It all pays back.
so you've seen both. Do you think the average stud fee in the cutting horse business is higher than that? Because I don't really, I'm not following
it's
that
higher
anymore.
than the reiners.
It is higher than the Rainers.
Yeah.
And do they have programs where you have to pay $20,000 to get in, or is there more stud incentive, like specific stallion incentive programs? If you breed to your horse and that colt does good, you pay
There's a
out
lot
of
of
your
those.
own
There's
program.
a lot of those that go on. A lot of those, yeah, like the highest placing whatever.
highest placing metallic cat
Yeah,
gets
gets-
an extra 100,000.
Yeah, you could be fifth or sixth. You didn't have to win. You know what I mean? Highest place. Yeah, or there's all different ways of how.
kind
they
of
do
like
it.
Silver Spurs is doing it. I imagine.
Same idea. Yeah. Instead of put. Obviously there's different ways of going about it, but yeah, it's the highest placing of whatever. Or like I think Oswoods is doing a deal where if it's by one of their studs, the highest placing one at these special events get paid X. I don't know what the dollar amount is, but it's just an incentive program for their stallions that they stand. And there's different. Jeremy Barwick does the same way with his. There's different stallion stations doing that. Then there's also different studs at like the highest placing, like he said, metallic cat or whatever. If you want to do Gunner Special Night or something like that, the highest placing by that stallion alone wins X amount of dollars or whatever.
And it's risky, because when you talk about some of those programs that are not in the 100X or the Invitational and have their own program.
Yeah, you use Silver Spurs as an example. I mean, it's risky.
I'm not using that as an example.
But
I'm
it's-
just saying, if there was somebody out there like that,
Same
I'm
idea.
less likely to breed to their studs because there's a big horse show in Waco and
Yeah.
in Fort
No,
Worth
I
and
agree.
in Tulsa, and
There's more options.
more options
100%.
for more money. And so to me, I'm going to support the studs that are in that program. And even though in those programs, and even though sometimes as a stud owner, you feel a little bit extorted because you got to put them in. You just don't have a choice. And I have a young stud in Super Mario. I mean, he's got to be in the programs. We know that. We're going to commit. We're all in. We're going to commit to having him in those programs. But it makes your already high risk even higher.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it just depends on what discipline you're breeding for, and if you're worried about what incentives. And everybody's different on where they want to go. If they're in the barrels or roping or cow horse or whatever. I mean, there's different ways that people think is the best way, the best odds. You know what I mean? And it falls into pedigree because it's what those horses are eligible for, or what, you know what I mean? It's everybody's done a different way. It just depends on what choice you pick. I mean, like you said, if you're going to do the 100X, you're going to do the Invitational, you're going to do, I mean, whatever incentive that you're picking to go to, the NRBC. I mean, you got to make sure, I mean, if you're breeding them, obviously you got to pay attention. If you're going to buy them as young horses or even older horses, it's just something that you see now where people start caring about it. I mean, I know all of you guys do when people come to look at horses. Well, they know what they're eligible for, and some of those horses that are worth a lot more, eligible for a lot more money, they bring more money because they're eligible to win more money.
So nobody has more people walk through their pasture than you do looking at yearlings. Does it matter to them when they come to buy yearlings if they're in the Invitational, in the 100X, in the NRBC?
I think it matters, yes. I do. I think it all comes back to a good individual. I mean, I don't think you're going to sell, and I don't care if it's a yearling, a 2-year-old, or older horse. You're not going to sell one that's, I mean, I think if there's two equal horses and one's eligible for more than the other one, I think, yes, it makes a difference. But I don't think you're going to sell a lesser horse for the same amount of money as a better horse, I guess, essentially, because they're in those. You know what I mean? You still have to have a good horse. You still have to be able to win the money. You can't just go participate and get free money.
I think the Invitational actually is probably the least important one now because it's really just one horse show. I mean,
Kind of.
But there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money you can win right there.
100X is a couple horse shows
Right.
now.
Yeah.
And
But
the
isn't-
NRBC is a few horse shows, and the NRHA is a few horse shows. The Invitational is one horse show, one 3-year-old horse show. That's it.
But if they're in the Invitational, were they eligible for the Derby, the last Derby in Tulsa that we went to? I think they were in either or.
I showed a Gunner Special Night in the Derby.
Yeah, but he's in
Yeah,
both.
but you didn't show him in the Invitational.
Yeah.
Invitational. Invitational horses are eligible for the 100X.
Yes.
Listen to the secretary.
Invitational horses were eligible for the 100X Derby in Tulsa.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think you have to do both if you're in the Invitational or the 100X in Fort Worth, the 4-year-old.
Gotcha. Yeah,
No,
that's the 4-year-old
No,
deal.
I'm talking about the Invitational.
You have to pay the 100X if you do the Fort Worth deal.
I'm confusing myself now.
Yeah, y'all are both confusing me. I guess it don't really matter. But what about you buy a lot of horses, you trade a lot of horses. This is how you make your living. Do you know? Do you keep tabs? Okay, this is lot number 1030. This is how much money we made on him. This is how much money we lost.
No.
And then do you have any kind of statistics on how much money you've made per horse on average? Like, do you
No.
make $1,000 a horse? Do you know how many times you made $1,000 a horse? Do you know how many times you lose on horses?
No, I don't keep track of it. I mean, Kelsey keeps track of some of it. I mean, as far as the horses, where they went. Some of those horses we've kept as far as 2-year-olds, and I mean, been, I guess, as far as more bought into, I guess, if you want to say paid training, kept and done things with, yes, it's a little easier to keep track of. But those day-to-day horses, no. And a lot of those horses get traded. I mean, there's a yearling that's got traded for a horse that's got traded for another horse, and it's just kept everybody. I mean, obviously it's helped myself too, but it's helped everybody along the line. We took a yearling, traded it for a riding horse, and then that riding horse, somebody needed it, and they had a broodmare. I mean, if you tried to keep track of some of it, it would not be easy. No.
But I've been with you a time or two. You're not afraid to make $500 on one either.
No,
if you can turn them right away, you're not.
No, and the other thing is my business as a whole is so much return business with the same people. I mean, it might be with you, but it might be with one of your customers. But it's so much return. That's what's funny. Somebody said, "Oh, I'm sure you had so many people at your house." Not necessarily, because it's kind of the same core people that we do stuff with day in and day out. If it's on a rope horse prospect, if it's on a barrel horse, if it's on a team sorting horse, but it's people that are on the team, and we're all on the same page, and we're all. I mean, if you tell me this is how it is, I don't need to come look at it. I mean, I'm the same way with you, and there's so many people like that that are in. I guess in my team, on my circle, where it makes it pretty easy. You know what I mean? And yeah, there might be a horse that makes 500. There might be a horse that loses 500. But as long as everybody's on the same team and we're all trying to move forward to help each other and make it good for everybody, it's good in the end. You know what I mean?
Well, no, and we know we can go, all right, we got this 6-horse trailer and these 2 yearlings. Can we trade it for that? Get on to the next thing.
Well, and
we'll try to make something work.
We'll make something work. I mean, if it's good or bad, if it's bad this time, we'll make it good the next time. I mean, it's not we're not gonna not do it because it's messed up. Well, it'll be fine. We'll fix it the next time. But we're all on the same team. We're going to do it again. It's not like, okay, one time we're never going to see each other again.
I actually, a couple years ago, I actually had Cooper come out, and I traded 7 yearlings for 1. And I feel like I won. And he feels like he won.
We were all happy.
I'm betting on him, too.
I'm betting on him, too. But
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Mine led off to him. We run his on to me.
But the number that we established that his horse was worth, I sold it for that number, and that made me happy.
Everybody was happy, but it does get a little
7
interesting.
7 for 1.
It does get a little interesting sometimes. I mean, but it's like you said, it's with the same core people. So if that didn't work, we'll fix it. I mean, we're going to fix it as we go. If it gets messed up or something ain't exactly right, we'll make it work.
In May, June, July, how many 3-year-olds do you trade for yearlings? Yearlings you trade. People get, Coop, I got a 3-year-old.
It's September. September's the month to trade 3-year-olds for yearlings.
It's quite. It happens quite a lot.
And he goes there with them, tell him, this thing's worth 40,000. Listen here, Pard, that thing's worth $10,000.
It's kind of irrelevant what they're worth. If you're sick of riding it, and you want to try again. Here we go.
Yeah.
It looks up. There's a lot of sorrel 3-year-old mares that are not.
Dude,
very
I came home from Tulsa and we made 2 sorrel mares disappear.
Yeah.
2 sorrel 3-year-old mares. One to ropers and.
It's not all bad, but it does get interesting sometimes on just like he said with 7 for 1 but on the other side of things, it's hard to keep the ones that was that horse's quality to be able to do that. I mean, I can understand why somebody that raised that horse that I traded him wouldn't want 7 of what he had.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but it's hard to find the ones I mean, that's why we've raised quite a few of them. Because I don't mind using them to trade, but if you raise it, you're not trading for his 7.
No, for sure.
Right.
For sure, and that's the thing. How many times does Cade call you and say, "Hey, Coop, bring your trailer"?
Yeah,
he doesn't even tell you what he's got.
No,
just Coop, bring your trailer.
But on the other side of things, it's bring your trailer, take these, and I'll be up there in 3 days, and I'm going to take one that I like. I mean, but we're all on the same page of what we're moving for this end.
Well, and he used the best term that day for me, and I called my customer and I said, "Listen, we have to clean this up. Do you want me to send you a $10,000 a month bill on all of these horses that we're not going to make money on? Or do you want me to send you one bill on one horse that we're going to make money on?"
Or at least has a shot. Has a way better shot. So there's a lot of times when everybody asks me what I do. There's a lot of times I wish I could pick up the phone and call somebody that would do it with me, what I do with y'all.
Yeah.
It's not.
I figured you had those people. I wanted to get into your phone and find those people and undercut you.
Yeah, some 2-year-olds. They're like, "Hey, these 2-year-olds sucks. You've been paying training on them. I would like to phone a friend. I would like a yearling."
And the thing is, the reason that works is because you've traded. I mean, I know you've traded a couple of Cade that have been open futurity finalists.
Well, and that's the cool thing is some of those horses that I mean, even though if you want to consider it was a bad deal when you started and you got something new. there's a way you have a way better chance of that working than what you have that is not working.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I mean, obviously, it needs to be a good individual. It needs to be a nice quality horse that's obviously paid up and X-rays. And it can't be junk. But if what you have is not working, at least try to do something different.
Yeah. And most of our clients, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They're well aware when they write the first check that there's no guarantees, but they want to be done when it's done. They don't want to be paying bills. Of course.
It doesn't matter if it's horses or whatever. I mean, whatever you're doing,
they're fine to keep paying a training bill if they're paying on something with some kind of
chance.
But one that has no chance,
they hate paying it.
But the horse that has no chance at one of the three of y'all's barn could have a chance doing something else. If it's doing
100%.
If it's doing, I mean, there's so many of them horses. I mean, it's funny. You'll like at the Congress, all you guys are there. You're like, man, that thing was a terrible reining horse. I can't believe somebody want to ride that. Oh yeah, they've won 4 trophies and a heart trailer and all this stuff with that horse in the ranch riding. But that horse, whoever it was, didn't like him in the reining. You know what I mean? Or some of those horses that were no good in the reining, they've made big time rope horses. I mean, it's not saying they're bad horses; they just weren't what y'all wanted to do.
Yeah,
it's amazing the opportunities that you can find in the horse sales if you just pay attention. Because for the last 5 years, I've brought a horse to the legacy sale, and I've sold mine for 12, 15, 20, 6,500, didn't matter, and I bought one a little bit cheaper. So I went to a horse sale with a horse, came home with a horse and money.
And so you liked yours better.
I still had the same amount of inventory, and I got a little cash.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to try to think about coming home with the same amount of inventory and a little bit of money. And
a product that you might probably do like better. Maybe it's not better, but you liked it better that day.
Yeah, and if you pay attention, it's amazing how many stones you can unturn. I remember, for example, Todd Summers came to the house last year looking for a 2-year-old. And I said, yeah, Todd, you can try some of these 2-year-olds. And he said he had in the 50 area to spend. Todd, how are you going to buy an open level 2-year-old for that? I don't know. And he just kept turning over stones. He bought one out of a sale for $35,000. That's turning out to be a really nice horse.
Yeah.
So if you just pay attention to what your limitations are or what you need it to be, I think you can make it work.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to have the. I mean, it makes it easier when you buy the best one at the horse sale, or you buy the best one you can find if budget doesn't matter. But if you're on a budget and you, just like you said, if it's a yearling or a 3-year-old or however old it is, you search long enough and you know what fits you. That not all the ones that win are at the top, or the horses that cost $150,000, $200,000. I mean, whatever.
What are you up to over there?
I just can't make it. I can't make it through a whole show without I try, but it tastes so darn good. I cannot make it through a whole show without the Tito's and my ranch fuel.
A little bump.
I need a bump. I can't make it. I try. I don't know if I drink too much.
He was fiending there for the last few minutes. He's been looking back to the right, like, I wish you guys would shut up so I can stand up.
Hey, will you pass this down to Gunny?
Come on. He knows what I was thinking. He heard the old empty rattle.
Here, I got a little. He didn't have to open a new one. I got this.
There you go.
Oh, this is cute. Y'all can share.
Yeah.
Hey, we share a lot of things that he doesn't know about. I don't know if I'm supposed to turn that one way.
No, I just set it down there by your feet.
Yeah, put it on the ground.
Can I open my own, or do I have to use yours? Can I have this?
Yeah, you can have it.
Thanks.
Man, that's good with the orange creamsicle stuff, huh?
I thought since the last time we had her, y'all might have cocktail waitresses.
It's unbelievable.
We do have cocktail waitresses, but we
can't
pay
get
them
off
too
the
well.
couch.
Yeah.
We pay them too good. Here you go.
I didn't really want any more. Thanks.
Yeah, you do.
Very good.
All right, now you got to all take a sip at the same time
Here.
and be like, oh,
You don't need any?
no,
So
I'm
nice.
good. I'm good.
So nice. Joe's pretty much like straight ranch fuel or water. It's one or
Yeah,
the other.
Topo
It's
Chico.
kind of. He didn't go
I
too.
don't stray too far.
Yeah, no.
The
You
Tito's,
did.
it doesn't help.
No, no, I don't do the Tito's.
Why not?
Just don't.
Why?
Body is a temple.
Yeah, right here. This is a temple. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
pretty much. But that's what they say anyway.
Compared to
Yeah,
the rest
compared
of
to
the
the rest
table,
of you
you're
guys,
looking, you know,
I am an
pretty
Adonis.
fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like how they want to split the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you something about these guys, okay?
Hey, wait a minute. I said me too.
No, you
Yeah.
said this end of the table.
No, I
No,
said
he
the
was-
rest of the
He was
table.
kind of the rest of the table. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, my body style is just slightly different than the rest of y'all.
I'll tell you
I
something
don't see the
about
problem.
we're sitting here
You're
with,
outnumbered, okay?
yeah, we're sitting here with some judgmental
That's right.
Yeah.
very judgmental people here, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm still friends with them. Matter of fact, I don't know out of like the very few friends I have left how Tom ended up being one of my better ones because for the longest time
Could you say bye at the end of the
my
phone
middle
call?
name was Dumbass. Like I didn't even know my normal name anymore. I'm like, how dumb are you? Yes, sir. I didn't even. Yes, that's me, the dumb one.
See, and I don't see it like that at all. I thought his first name was Dumbass.
Not the middle.
Not the
name.
middle one.
And I never said, Gunny, you dumbass. I said, hey, Dumbass. Yeah.
You still love him.
No,
You don't tell him goodbye because he just hangs up.
I do say it all the time after he hangs up.
Bye, Tom.
I hear that. Yeah.
Love you.
Goodbye. It was nice talking to you today, bud.
He's already off the phone.
Oh yeah, he's been gone for a minute, but I still take the time to
He
do it.
texted me a little heart emoji today.
Yeah, blowing. It's like a blowing
Little
heart.
kiss,
Yeah, a
little
little
kissy.
kissy heart.
That,
Yeah.
that was a little
That was
uncomfortable.
cute.
Yeah.
He's been hanging around Jordan, Tom.
No, these two dumbasses, I texted them. They said, don't forget we're shooting tonight.
You didn't text me, and y'all thought I was the only one wasn't going to be here on time.
You weren't on time.
Yeah, you were like an hour late.
At least I showed up, okay?
Yeah, but I text these two, don't forget we're shooting tonight at 6 o'clock. And there's nothing. Get no response from either one of them.
Don't you think I'd have responded if there
If
was
there was
a
an
problem?
issue, yeah. If there was an
Yeah.
issue, we would have let
It
you
would have been
know.
nice if you'd have called me. Maybe I'd have remembered to be on time.
Yeah, I'm going to, you know what? Here's what it said right here. I said, don't worry, you guys don't need to respond. It's rewarding enough just knowing I have such great people in my contacts.
Yeah,
That's what you told him?
Yeah. And I just responded with the little.
yeah.
Give me a
with-
little kissy
Kiss
face.
in the heart. And then I saw that he sent that, and that was awkward. And then I'm like, well, you don't really need to respond. So I'm like, okay, I don't
You
need
just
to
showed
respond.
up.
He was the odd man out, so he showed up early to show Tom that he
I
was
brought
going
the
to be here.
Fritos. I brought the Fritos. So
That's
Oh, no
pretty
wonder
much
there was
good.
only 2 little bags of
Yeah,
Fritos.
exactly. exactly.
you noticed, though?
fitting.
We still got Fritos.
We
left.
ran out of Fritos.
We got
because, yeah.
Fritos left because I didn't want to dive into just the 2 little bags of Fritos.
But
that
the
we
last
had.
time
Yeah.
I brought more Fritos, and there was still 2 bags left. And
I
I'm
had
like,
told him one time, bring the ice cream. There was like 12 of us. He brought a little bitty, what do you call those things?
Pints.
A little pint. He
pint.
brought
I
a pint
two-
of
I
ice
brought
cream.
2 pints, and you
Let
didn't
me
tell me
get-
there was 12
The
people.
next thing is if
I
he
thought it was
brought
2
ice cream, you
people.
got a hold of it.
Oh yeah, I made sure I got mine first.
Well, he ate the pint.
yeah.
Yeah,
Then he went to the gas station to get everybody else ice cream.
Yeah.
You were here. Yeah.
I didn't have any ice cream.
Yeah.
I did, however,
all Joe's fault.
I did,
Yeah, all
however,
the time.
console Joe from crying in the next room over after you made him feel like a dumbass.
No, I wasn't crying, but yeah, he never told me how many people. Like, how do you know if it's 2 or 12? And I'm not going to get too
asked.
much.
Yeah, Joe wasn't going to eat ice cream.
Too much ice cream. That's what you and Tom.
I have a
I
freezer.
guess not.
Oh, you know
Now-
I have a freezer.
Well, now
you
you have the
actually
freezer.
know I have a freezer
Now you
because
do.
you always
Chairs
go
are
in
hard
my
on the
freezer.
You got to
Yeah.
move around.
I'm making a donation.
No, if I'm out of town, if we're at a horse show and Joe doesn't go, I'll come home and my chocolate chip ice cream will be gone.
Yeah. If it's chocolate chip, I'm going for
Dude,
it.
chocolate chip
Well, just-
Bluebell is the bomb.
Yeah,
it's
he'll-
hard to find.
Yeah, see?
Dear
Totally.
Bluebell, you guys suck for not distributing chocolate chip ice cream. You have chocolate chip cookie dough, mint chocolate chip,
Yeah.
cookies and cream, all this other bullshit, but not just chocolate
Chocolate
chip.
chip.
Ice cream. I mean, it's simple.
Yeah. No, and I actually emailed Bluebell saying pretty much that same thing. With
Are
a
you
little,
serious?
Oh, yeah.
He
I
did.
said, yeah.
He's an emailer.
But they,
But that was 2 months.
A complainer.
Hey, but that was 2 months after he emailed Blue Bunny for not putting enough chocolate chips in their chocolate chip ice cream.
No, that was Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs.
Because they didn't put enough pistachios in the, I think it was No, it was the butter pecan.
Y'all gonna have
Those little butter
diabetes.
pecans. Yeah. But Haagen-Dazs sent me some coupons.
Dude,
They did?
Yeah, Bluebell was just like,
Yeah,
well,
but you know
that's our
why?
distribution
You
system.
know why?
Sorry.
I'm telling you, you know why the Pilot Point Brookshire Brothers started selling chocolate chip ice
I
cream?
think it's because of my email.
No, because I told the person that runs the store.
Oh,
why
you
does
did.
Bluebell never give chocolate chip?
Yeah.
I went on their website. They still make it. Why do you guys not order it? Please start ordering it.
Yeah.
You're welcome, guys.
Yeah.
That is nice.
No, because it's
That's
always
about-
there now. Like it's pretty consistent. But before we'd find it at Dollar General. You'd find
You
it.
go hunting this shit out.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The
It's like
sketchier-
a gold mine.
The sketchier Dollar General. If you got
Oh,
a
yeah.
Dollar General that's sketchy that you're scared to go in, they'll have chocolate chip. It might be slightly expired.
It'll be one. It'll be
But-
one tub of it. And it'll be behind 4 tubs of Dutch chocolate.
And you got to scrape off the top level
Yeah,
of
it's got that
crystal
ice on there.
when you get on. Yeah.
Nothing a little microwave can't fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you go to the pit stop and you get a chocolate milk. Make sure you check the date. I took a slug of that baby one time.
Oh, Tom, come on, time out. Don't.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
it
nasty.
wasn't good at all. Was not good at all. Well, every once in a while, I forget that. That's probably what brought us together, is we all like chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah. No, Cade likes it. It's his favorite
Yeah.
too.
I think it might have something to do with y'all's IQ level
Dude.
too.
It's odd to me that you're moving them horses around so bad that you don't keep track. Like every horse that I have bought has its own QuickBooks account. It
Yeah,
knows-
but that's
I'd blow
that's,
QuickBooks up if we had to
Yeah,
keep track of
exactly.
every one of them.
How many horses you trade in a year?
That's a question
In and
somebody
out.
asked the other day. I don't know. A few.
how many did you trade off today?
17.
On average,
1,000?
how many?
No, not every day, but they were just
on
leaving.
average, how many do you do?
I would say close to.
Let's just ballpark it. How many do you do in one
Wait
week
a
on
minute.
average?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we got to
How many
ask
horses
the real
do you
person.
trade off in a year?
No, a
By
week.
themselves?
No, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it in a week because the average. The thing is about it is different times of the year. Like there's so many more of them. Like
Okay.
this time of year with all the yearlings and everything.
17 a day is a lot. That's,
No, but there ain't that many a day. There was just horses that were leaving, and yesterday might not have been any. I mean, I would say you could put it on.
Monthly basis this time of year, September.
I would say
October.
you could say close to 500.
a month.
No, a year, not a month.
No, you trade more than 500.
Way more than that. Way more.
500. No.
Yeah. Shelly
'Cause we
Reese-
probably do
Shelly
200.
Reese says
Okay.
she sells 150 or 130 on Facebook.
I don't know. There's a plenty. There's always someone you need to come. So who cares? Kind of like the ice cream. You don't have to.
He
scratch
always
it.
had Bluebell.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
And you don't have to scratch the shit off the top or
Yeah.
put it in your fridge or check the date.
You want a yellow one? I got it. You want a chocolate chip?
Yeah.
I got it. You
Yeah.
want...
Yeah. It
He's
doesn't
like-
matter how many there is. There's plenty.
Yeah, he's like going to the big fancy supermarket. You just
got
got
everything.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to go to the sketchy Dollar General. We're always open.
You got a whole alleyway, a whole aisle of a freezer space with ice cream of any kind you want.
I feel like I could make it home. I could make it to Bruce Brothers to get me some chocolate chip ice cream.
Why
on
don't
the
you
way
take
home.
some of his? He's got some in here.
I kind of want my own, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's much left in that tub. I checked it earlier.
I guarantee you when we get home from the Congress, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Joe says, yeah, for sure.
I would blow up Facebook if I kept, or QuickBooks if I kept track with QuickBooks, huh? Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't. That would take you barely have enough time to do what you do. If you had to put it all in QuickBooks, I think that'd
Well, you
be.
probably sell them quicker than you could get it entered into the QuickBooks.
She keeps track of the papers. The paperwork end of it is more troublesome sometimes than the horses, because the horses, they're here, but you got to get the papers in the mail from over here, from over there. Who knows where they are? Then the horses are gone. It gets a little tricky.
I imagine you got a pretty good connection in AQHA.
I don't. Kelsey does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But
Are you
it's-
nice to said person, or you kind of be a little...
We're tight.
Yeah.
her and AQHA? Yes. Me, it depends on the day.
Oh, yeah, not him.
Yeah.
One time.
Right.
One
Well, that's
time.
fair. They probably got more to offer.
Some days it wouldn't take much, depending on the day.
Yeah. Well, good times, boys.
Yeah. Very good.
I don't have any more stupid questions for him.
No questions, stupid Gunny.
Well, he didn't have many answers for me. I wanted to know percentages and odds, and
Sorry, I don't.
you
have
just
all
said,
that shit.
just wing it.
Well, you've been to the house.
About
Does it
field.
look like it's percentage and odds?
No,
Okay.
but yeah, I think you know.
I
I think you keep a mental note.
maybe a mental note, but
Yeah.
not on paper. I don't know.
Yeah.
And no, there's not a percentage on what they bring.
Like,
Just
do you put a
Thompson.
collar on them with how much you paid for them, just in case you
No.
don't forget?
I'll forget every once in a while.
This is this is old star
Yeah,
2 zeros. So you got to give me 3 zeros.
with the coded number letter system, so you go,
Yeah.
I gave,
No, none of that.
no.
If there's that many of them, I can't keep track of it. We're gonna get rid of some.
You walk out there and remember what you gave for every one of them?
I can come within pretty close. Where I get mixed up is whenever there's 9 trades down the line
Yeah.
of what, and then you've X-rayed this one and
By
trucked
9
that
trades down the line, they're all free.
How many?
one. Have you traded with your kid
Yeah.
or your wife? Yours,
Yeah.
not mine.
Yeah.
That's why you always call and ask for him.
Yeah, he doesn't know what horse we're talking about.
Well, it's that face blindness.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Dictionary. I'm gonna look up face blindness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a thing.
Yeah,
I
Matthew
believe you.
McConaughey has it, so and he's kicking
Tom,
ass. So.
Tom and Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
It was just those two people.
We're like a before and after that didn't work.
What's the countdown to Junior? To Coop Junior?
Oh, that's
December
right.
22nd.
Wow,
December 22nd.
fun stuff.
You ain't going to be trading any horses that day, are you?
I don't
I
believe
bet
so.
he would. I bet he would.
Yeah, I got this. Oh, they're doing surgery now. This
We'll
is
be
going
right
to be more expensive. I'll be right back, yo.
Yeah.
I need to sell something.
Well, we got to. We have bills to pay.
He'll go to the hospital and come home with two kids because he's going to trade for one.
Yeah. You got to be
As
careful.
long as I got one, I'm going to get
Hey,
another
I
one.
brought
Wasn't-
one in here, but I'm bringing 2 out and some cash, okay?
And no bills.
Throw in them bed sheets, too.
Yeah.
And no bills.
Good
What are you
stuff.
saying, Mandy?
You're gonna have to sell more horses after December 22nd.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You already volunteered your free
Baby
Free
city
babysitting. Service. It won't be free. It'll cost somewhere, but the free might be at the front. Yes. Either way, don't get too far away. But December 22nd, he will be here.
Yeah, right on.
That's the plan as of now.
Very good.
So, yeah.
All right. We good, boys?
Yeah.
I have
good.
one question.
Oh, here we go.
Is your camera on?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
always
the
on.
camera's
I'm just
on.
asking for a
Always
friend.
on.
Oh, yeah. You know, we did record this one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. I do see one red light at
Coop
least.
was our first ever victim of
Tragedy.
Yeah.
Complete
The
tragedy.
camera not working.
But it was good that
digital
the camera
Shot a
didn't
whole
work.
show.
Yeah, but that first show, he was nervous. His teeth were chattering.
Have you
He
ever
wasn't
hung out with
talking.
you two? 3?
Well, really, it's just Tom that you should be nervous about. He's the one that's mean. Me and Joe are pretty nice.
Yeah, we're pretty chill.
What is the most successful horse that you've sold or traded?
Stanley? That's easy.
Nope.
That Stanley is a very good success story. I would give you that. I mean, as far as when you say a success story, as far as a horse that's won the most, or I don't know. I mean, Stanley. I will say Stanley is a success story for me. I told Fred that I wanted to top the fraternity sale, and him and McBurney called me and said we have the yearling or we have the Wheeling that will top the sale. So I bought him sight unseen. They shipped him all the way from wherever, I don't know, California. He got to my house. He stayed there till he was a yearling. We sold him in the horse sale. McBurney buys him back and then trains him, or he didn't own him, a customer has owned him, trained him, and then Tom bought him off Sean, and that's Stanley's story. Now Sarah Rose has him, and now she wins all kinds of stuff with him. And Stanley, he's a class clown. I mean, there's been horses won way more money, but that horse, I will say, has a spot in my heart. He has a spot in your heart. He has a spot in everybody's heart.
Yeah, no
Stanley.
doubt. No
he
doubt.
might lick windows and be
Yeah.
his IQ might not be the greatest, but that horse, yes, I would say there. Like I said, there's been more horses won more money, but that horse, I would have to say, we bought 1030 as a yearling at the fraternity sale.
There you go. That's great.
And Danny trained him until the Derby. Then Danny Tremblay trained him till the Derby, and then sold him to Casey. Bought him, and then he stayed in Casey's barn. I think he traded hands a couple times. and then Casey won the fraternity on him. That's obviously a success story, but I'm still going to stick with Stanley.
But that was not a cheap horse either. The day that you bought him, he was a yearling, and he was
neither one of them were cheap at the time. And I guess it depends on what you're considering cheap, but
he was a $50,000 yearling. Right?
Both those horses cost. Obviously Stanley's a baby, cost close to that, and 1030 cost close to 50 as a yearling too. They weren't cheap horses, but I guess you put in relation what their cost to what they win or whatever. But just like you said, if you have a budget of whatever the budget is, if you buy a good individual that fits your program, your pedigree, your thing, it doesn't have to be the most expensive one there. It just has to be one that you believe in and you think you can make work, And whatever discipline. I don't.
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was an $11,000 yearling that went through 2 different sales that people didn't fire on.
Little Joe Cash, 6,500.
Yeah, Little Joe Cash.
I bet there's almost more of those than there is on the other side of things. Maybe not more, but.
Well, Kate and I went through one year. We went through the legacy sale from 2 years before, and of all the ones that brought, so your odds were better spending less than 10,000 than more than 10,000.
More than 10,000.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk about a success story? There was the little mare that Jack Daniels has won. I don't know 60. He's made the level 4 finals with the white face mare, the Shining Gun mare.
Yeah.
There's some people north of Watchboro that raised her, and I don't remember the numbers, like 6,500, 7,500 something. And then I used her to trade with a horse trainer, and he trained her for a while, and then that guy ended up with her. And Jack, he's made the finals on her everywhere. She cost less than 10,000 as a young horse. There's no telling what she's worth now, but he's made the 4 finals on her everywhere.
Yeah.
But it goes.
We looked at her for
Yeah.
200 in Florida.
Yeah, she's a very nice horse, but there's lots more stories like that, and it makes it to where it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? You have a chance. You don't necessarily have to go. If your odds are probably better, you're buying a better individual or more pedigree or whatever you want to say, but you don't have to go. And I think that's where, in any discipline that you're in, I think that's something that everybody has to keep in consideration. You can still play on a lower level and still at a lower cost and play at the highest level.
That's what keeps everybody in it. 100%. If you had to give 50 or 75,000 for every yearling for it to work,
doesn't work.
Wouldn't work.
But I think reining is one of the only disciplines that you really can do that in, isn't it? Can you do that in the barrel racing or in the cutting?
You can do it in the cow horse. And I don't remember the exact.
You can do it in the cow horse. I understand
you can do it in the cow horse. You can do it in the cutting. There's some of those horses.
You've seen Kentucky Derby horses
that
have
see that,
sold for.
But in the cutting, there's some of those horses that you see bought for 6 figures as yearlings, and then they come back and maybe don't bring that much as 2-year-olds, maybe don't make the fraternity finals, and then you see some that cost less than 20,000 that have made the finals, or one here, one there. Still you have to have a good horse that has a chance and has a good horse trainer.
They don't know what they cost.
No, it's. But I think that's a downfall. I think to some people, they're like, well, we can't play at that level. Well, if you have the right person helping you and assisting in what you're buying or what you're doing, and it all luck has to come into it some.
Yeah,
but
that's always one of my things when I watch on Facebook. And it's a rich man's game. You can't afford to buy a horse anymore. You can't afford to buy a show horse. Can't buy old Tex house money. What would we give for him? 40,000, 35,000, 35,000, and he won 100 and something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's
who's Tex?
A little dun horse, right?
Bay Brown.
Oh, little done it for whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that started off as a $4,500 horse, right, or something.
Yeah, he traded 3 times before. We give the most for him.
Your success story.
Yeah, there you go. You had that one too, didn't you?
I had him one day. Yeah.
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 And you saw that confirmation, said, just got to have some of that. Huh?
Yeah.
He going to make a great rainer someday. Manny McCutcheon's going to get him and run +1 stop someday. That little short neck.
That's exactly what I thought. The main thing is he didn't know what his neck looked like or what he looked like whenever that check was in front of him every time she went and showed him.
Yeah,
right.
100%. No, if they want to do it,
if they want to
find
do
a way.
it, and, obviously there's luck and you got to have somebody that knows what they're doing. It's not just a crapshoot, but use that horse as an example. you don't have to go give 150, 250,000 to have one that is going to win.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like I said, it sure makes it probably
Well,
easier, but you don't have to.
You look. I mean, look at Tom Brady, greatest quarterback in history. Probably one of the least athletic looking.
Ran like a 6'5", 40.
Yeah. I mean, straight out of he'd have brought 3,500 straight out of the
Oh yeah.
as a yearling. I mean, if you put it in the same, I mean, he was slow in the combine.
Sorry, Tom, if you're watching this. Okay.
This Tom says
He's
you're
gonna
slow.
he's
You
gonna be
missed
our
the
guest
fact that
next
I
week.
said the greatest quarterback in history.
right.
We didn't hear that part.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Dude,
I mean,
this ranch fuel kicked our conversation a little down the road, didn't it? Huh? We got all jacked up again.
All right.
but I think it's John Elway. I mean, you can go through. I just don't think you have to beat Larry Bird. It
John
doesn't matter.
Elway was a hoss. Come on, John Elway was.
Yeah, but he was pigeon-toed, and he did not look
yeah,
like
but see, he couldn't run, but he could throw a ball 150 miles an hour. I mean,
100. Yeah, for sure he could.
He's a golfer big time. I've heard about him.
Joe.
No, this guy.
Oh, you should see his putter, dude. You should see.
Whoa.
Hey,
Whoa.
pull out old Poison with the putter. Show him what putting in North Texas is all about.
Let's not be looking at anybody's putter at the end of the
Yeah.
show. Let's just try
Yeah.
to finish this show with no putters coming out.
Yeah, okay. No
That's
horn
fair.
honking either.
That's fair.
Grow the show.
Okay.